Hello, everybody. Welcome to another Object Show interview. And today I am joined by the fantastically wonderful Punch Hauler, the creator of Escape From Abject Reality, a brilliant Object Show web comic. How are you doing today, Punch?
I'm punch holder. I guess I'm doing pretty fine. I mean, I have to deal with a few technical issues on my end just now, but hi. Yes, I do create the comic from 2017. So it's been like 9 years, which is pretty crazy, actually.
Yeah. Oh, geez, that's a good point. It'll be 10 years next year. I'll do something special for that.
Yeah, I mean, if I have the time,
Well, yes. Oh, yeah, that's true.
yeah.
I'm sure other people will celebrate the 10 years in their own way, even if you don't get the chance to do something for it.
That's true.
I expect lots of fan art.
Well, hopefully.
I mean, there's already plenty of it, but hopefully some fun 10th anniversary fan art would be really cool to see.
Yeah, they're mostly on Blue Sky. You know, there's like a pretty pretty smallish community. There's like maybe probably like 5 to 10 people, maybe.
But they are
Yeah,
dedicated.
they are pretty dedicated.
Mm,
That
yes.
is true.
Yeah, I enjoy seeing them all as well because I'm kind of I hang around and I see them post their stuff and I'm like, ooh, there's some more EFA stuff. I love it.
Yeah, if even the characters that aren't really fully introduced in the comic yet, even those guys.
You see, that's how you know you've got a dedicated group of people. You know, that's all you need. You don't need tons and tons. You just need a few really, really dedicated folks.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, definitely. I'm kind of afraid of getting like a really big fan base because I kind of had like first-hand experience of that,
Hmm.
kind of.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I guess a smaller dedicated community is like, easier to control
Yeah.
and you kind of like, you kind of know everyone. So that's like another good thing.
Yeah, I kind of have the same kind of feeling, you know. It's like sometimes I sit there and I'm like, yeah, I couldn't imagine coping with many more people, right? It's like I've got this little group, you know, of consistent people. It's like, yeah, this is good, and I couldn't imagine it being much bigger than this because it's like you don't want to kind of lose that connection with people because the more people you have, the less time you can give to everybody.
So, should I shoot you a question first?
Oh yeah, if you want to go for it.
Well, okay, Mikey. What got you into IFA? Is it like a blue sky post that a certain someone shot at you?
It was definitely Blue Sky. I mean, it was someone very specific who kept because they knew I was a fan of object shows in general, and they were saying, you know, there's a really good webcomic out there you should probably read. And they, I mean, it was jokingly, it wasn't super pushy or anything, but they definitely kept mentioning it any chance they could. And I kept saying, I'll read it. I promise I'll read it. I'll read it. I will. I'll do it. I'll do it. And then eventually I did do it. It just had to find the time to do it. Um,
And
and
eventually you did.
eventually I got to it, yes. But then it took me a while to actually get through all of it because I was doing kind of as I was reading it reactions on Blue Sky. So it took me a while to get. It took me longer to get through it than it should have because of that. Because I'm like, well, I want to share my experience with people as I'm going through it, right? Because usually when I do my usual show and I'm watching object shows, I obviously do reactions on video for those. But when I was reading EFAR, I'm like, well, I'll just do a thread on Blue Sky instead. And yeah, so it ended up taking me. I had to take big breaks in between because of all of the reasons. But when I was doing reaction threads, it takes time because I'm like, right, I'm going to take this little screenshot and like do this little how I was feeling in this point of time, and then obviously once I got to a certain section of story, I'd be like, okay, I need to take a break now because the emotions are getting a bit too much. So then I ended up taking a break for a month. I'm like, I can't read EFAR for a while. Oh
Emotions.
my word, no, yeah, yeah, oh, it's totally fine. EFAR's got absolutely no traumatic things in it at all. It's totally fine.
About it. I mean, but yeah, no really big bad ones. Just regular trauma as everyone gets.
just your standard.
Regular low, just your standard, you know, character death.
Yeah.
Nothing to see here. It's so typical.
Yes, standard everyday trauma. Nothing out of the ordinary for sure.
Yeah,
uh,
yeah.
but yeah. So like, I did read it in chunks rather than all in one go. And then the last little, the latest chapter I kind of went through it all in one go, and I was like, right, if I'm going to get caught up with this properly, I'm going to just actually sit and read it and not do another reaction thread just to get caught up with everything, because I was like, well, I need to make sure I catch up, because I didn't want to end up falling behind. So I can say I have finally caught up now.
I see. So, do you have a particular favorite character that stands out in the cast?
Oh, jeez, and this is my problem when I get when I read anything or watch anything. There is always usually a couple that stand out, but sometimes there's something that comes along, and I'm just like, geez, I kind of like all of these goobers. But um, Basket and Badgie are definitely two of my favorites. I love those two. I love the dynamic. I just really enjoy how I like Basket more, and what I really like about him is how he started off as this kind of menace,
Idiot.
right? Oh,
He's stuck up as an
he's such so stubborn and such like I'm gonna do things my own way and screw everybody else, and then having to become reliant on somebody else, Badgie, because he suddenly became, couldn't do anything for himself anymore, but still maintaining that sass. I really appreciate that. It was just really, really fun. I like Basket alone was really good, but then the Basket Badgie dynamic when they became that pairing, just amped it for me, and those two are fantastic, and they're definitely my top two, 100%. And you know, as much as we're meant to loathe them, Snake Oil's pretty an interesting character. Lots of layers going on there. And
He's a
yeah.
very smelly onion. A very smelly. It's
That
like when you peel a layer, it's like, oh no, there's more rotten stuff, and then you try to peel off the rot. Oh, there's even more rotten stuff going on.
it's such a good description, and it's so funny because again, he's another one. It's like I know this is just there's no salvation here, just horrible, horrible. And then there's these little tiny hints of kind of you know not exactly hesitance, but these little hints of something else, emotion wise, where he just kind of goes, maybe this isn't. No, never mind. I'll keep doing it. There's just these little tiny moments where it's like, is he having second thought? No, he's well, maybe for 2 seconds he was, and then not anymore.
Yes, there is a reason for why he is like that, but he's not a morally great character. I mean, I wouldn't even say that he is morally great because he is just straight up not a good guy.
Nope.
But there are reasons why he is like that and
Yeah.
why he's written that way. Because even terrible people have a few second thoughts about what they're doing.
Yeah. And that's what makes his character enjoyable too, because it's not just all. It's kind of like he's very clear cut, but also not. It's like well, this is just straightforward bad guy, but also very, for want of a better word, human. It's still there's still that aspect in there. It's not just super straightforward, but also straightforward, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, I mean, but he is still pretty threatening, even though he's kind of a little dumb at times. He still manages to kind of trap all of these people in the game and kind of like pick them out and try to you know how like really specifically get into their emotions.
Yes. Oh, yeah. And that's something I was thinking about too. It's the whole way that, like, every time these, for want of a better word, contestants feel like they're getting a grip on
It's like
something.
a very personalized hellhole
Yeah.
for
And
everyone.
and every time they think they're getting a grip on something, or they've got an advantage, or they're starting to get ahead in the game a little bit, suddenly he throws something at them, and it's like, ha! What you gonna do now? It's like, yeah, you thought you were clever?
For
Nope.
something like really personal at them.
Mm-hmm.
Especially in the recent chapter, I think that's gonna emphasize more of like his tendency to do that.
Yeah. Oh, that stood out a lot when I was reading through that latest chapter too, and it's like it's definitely an aspect that stood out a lot when I was reading it. I'm like, oh yeah, okay, I can see what he's up to. Yep. All right. Cool.
I guess on the note on like Basket and Veggie, while I was writing EFAR at the time, well, like actually this, the Basket and Veggie alliance wasn't really planned from like, way back. It
Mm.
was kind of like decided very, very on the spot, actually. Because, as you've seen, like the nature of EFAR is that, audience can pick like one of two choices.
Yes.
The story kind of develops as it goes along. So that's why, sometimes there's like a lot of art style changes. It's a very experimental story. That's
Mm.
what I would say.
Mm.
There wasn't really like a lot of too much planning put into it. It's a lot of improvisation.
Yeah.
I mean,
That's
that's what
cool.
I would like to admit because, most people plan their story. I mean, that's probably something I should have done a long time ago. But EFAR started out as just purely experimental.
And look how far it's come since then.
So if you ask me, like, how will EFAR end? I don't really know because the audience probably has to decide that, when the time comes. I mean, I do have some idea of how everything would turn out, of like how everything will eventually end because the comic is currently closer to the end than the beginning at this
Oh,
point.
okay. Ah.
But yeah, I mean, I do have some ideas, but they're not really concrete because it's only ever concrete if there is a page of it.
Oh, yeah.
Otherwise, it's just all speculation. It's just all ideas.
I
So back to the topic of like the basket veggie interaction. So at the time, I was thinking like, what if basket just shoots veggie or like attacks the bucket?
mm-hmm.
Because Snake says there's like a monster in the forest and he's trying to set up Basket to be this evil villain that threatens everyone.
Uh-huh.
But then, suddenly I thought of something really interesting, like, oh, what if they became like allies instead? Completely fooling Snake Oil's expectations of Basket just really trying to be alone.
Yeah.
Like, how in previous chapters Basket was like really independent, he
Oh,
doesn't care about anyone.
yeah,
He just
100%.
says whatever he says with zero filter.
Mm.
And I guess, along the way he kind of realizes from his torment with Snake Oil that he can't really survive alone. Like, being alone is just gonna put him in a position of like just being individually tormented by Snake Oil. As you can see when he kind of his limbs are kind of all removed and there's like the playtest that happens.
Yep.
They has to like shoot a bunch of eyeballs. So at the same time, I was also thinking about like trying to develop Badgie as a character because up to like chapter 3, like Badgie kind of just seems like a nice guy. Maybe he's sensitive. He helps Amulet a lot.
Mm-hmm.
So that time I was trying to find a way to use Basket to develop both Badgie and actually later on there's like the amulet characterization as well. It's really trying to kill like two birds with one stone, if you know what I mean.
Oh yeah, I just you were trying to make yeah, you were trying to develop Basket away from being this whole hard-headed, stubborn, just work on his own kind of guy, and also say, hey, there's more to Badgie than just being this kind of one-dimensional nice
Like
guy character.
nice guy character.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Honestly, when that partnership started happening, it was like it was really an interesting thing to see because like I didn't see it coming. It was a good turn in the story because it's like I didn't see that happening. I mean, I just thought Basket was just going to keep on being stubborn, even
And
with
then
no
it's
limbs.
gonna turn into like a robot, like a giant cyborg
Yeah,
with guns everywhere, like sticking out from his body.
you know that's the alternate universe Basket. He's out there somewhere.
Yeah, the basket 3.0 in like one of the pages. It's like guns and wings, like Spectre Neo.
Basket.
Yeah. So I guess Basket was kind of like the falling domino to all these other characters from the red team. Because if it affects Badgie, then it will also affect Amulet, which Basket also kind of knew wet wipes back then, so it kind of also affects wet wipes as well.
Yeah.
And the whole like Badgie Amulet fighting and kind of Z kind of withdrawing himself from the group also affects Clove in a way.
Yeah.
And I guess he is kind of like in his own in his own world, like he tries to go back into the group, but then something bad happens again, and now he's like accusing everyone, and he starts to withdraw again.
Mm. Yeah, it's the ripple effect of what one character does, and that's another interesting aspect of everything as well. It is the whole knock-on effect that you see running throughout both sides, both teams. Just these one person does one thing, and it ends up affecting everybody, even if they don't think it's going to affect everybody. It's really good.
Yeah,
And you've got so many good characters to bounce around and bounce off of each other too. It's a really good cast of characters. So there's lots of potential for different kind of interactions between them all, and like that's why I like now that I've finally caught up. It's like every page when it comes out, I can be like, I can start reading it and going, ooh, which characters am I going to see now? And I'll see. I was like, oh, I'm going to see these two talk to each other. Like I'm gonna anticipate it a lot more now.
I guess in the recent pages it will be more of the blue team.
Yeah.
So I guess the red team gets kind of sidelined here because the events in chapter 4 occur at like the same time
Yes,
with
but
chapter 3.
on their side of things, the red team gets to have a bit of a break.
Yeah, well, kind of, but
Well,
yeah, they're just sitting there
uh,
waiting for their doom. I guess, one more thing is that I'm currently trying to develop the blue team as well. Just trying to have them to catch up to the level of the red team.
mhm.
And maybe like um do a little bit of killing. Maybe. Maybe. You'll see.
I like the maybe. It's just the dangling. It's like maybe I will, maybe I won't. That's just it's a
Well, I
you know.
mean, I did like kind of do fake out deaths for Silica in chapter 2,
Mm-hmm.
maybe Badgie in chapter 3. I mean, people would say that, he's kind of like, oh, they're like the author's favorites or something. Well, not really. It's mostly because I just still find them a little bit undeveloped, so we don't really know much about them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
as you see in the case for like a certain indigo character who fell in a bunch of fans, and yeah. That one in chapter 1. Am
Uh,
I allowed to say spoilers here?
maybe I'll just say, hey, there's a spoiler at this moment or something like that.
Yeah. Okay. Well, Jeans died. Jeans is dead. How do you feel about dead Jeans?
Well, I mean, she's still getting the chance to bug snake oil now and again, which is kind of fun, despite being dead.
But how do you react to the
S-
dead Jeans?
So that was the first part of the. That was the first section of the comic that had the video link, wasn't it? There was a video for that.
Animation,
Yeah, the
yes.
animation for that. So
The Danganronpa execution.
yes. So that was like from like both fronts. It was like it caught me off guard because I didn't know going into the comic. I didn't know there was any animations. So it was kind of a two-pronged thing because it's like, oh, cool. Obviously the build up to it was like, well, this doesn't look too good, and then having the animation link to click. And I was like, oh, animation, that's cool. And it quickly went from this is a really cool little thing to include in the car. Oh no, well, ah, yeah, it was something.
And then, God, everybody is sad.
Yeah, I think that's when I had to take my first break for reading. I think I read for.
Yeah, I think that's the part where most people stop.
I might have read a couple of pages afterwards just to see the character reactions because of it being the first actual like big consequence, the first actual hey, this is something that can happen to you here. So I was like, I need to see how people react. And then after a few more pages, like, okay, I've seen their reactions. I'm gonna it's gonna take maybe a week or two away from this now and just recover myself a little bit, and then I might be ready to go back to it. And spoiler, I did go back to it. So I didn't abandon it forever. It didn't scare me away for good, just for a little bit.
Yeah, it was the really pivotal moment where like the entire tone changes. Well, not really. I mean, it kind of establishes itself to be like a kind of dangerous game,
Yeah,
but you don't know what kind of danger exactly until you see it.
and it was really well done too because like Jean's dying at that moment suddenly raised the bar to a point where like up until that point it's like okay, there's threats, things could happen, characters can get hurt, die, and then Jean's dying at that point made it so that every single page essentially became a stressful experience to read because it's like, well, somebody else could die at any moment now. Especially when when we got to the point with the flowers and everything, and it's like, well, I don't like this one little bit, and it got to the point where it's like someone's gonna die. It's like, just when's it going to happen? So yeah, you really set the pace well with that because then it became this like really, really stressful experience, but a stressful experience that you didn't want to stop experiencing. So you got that really, really well, like put down really well because it's like I need to keep reading because it's like I need to make sure that this one doesn't die, and I hope this one doesn't die, but I need to read to find out.
Well, I mean, notice how well, spoilers again, but most of the deaths occur during at like the red team side, but the
Mm-hmm.
blue team hasn't really gotten any major losses yet.
No.
Other than, like Styrofoam just suddenly disappearing out of nowhere and nobody liking him.
Mhm.
But, what they've gone through so far wasn't as severe as the red team.
No.
So you kind of see like a difference in attitudes between these two teams.
Yes.
Like in the beginning of chapter 4, they're kind of like, oh, I don't know what we're doing. We're just stumbling around carelessly and just picking up random things with like kind of like a reckless abandon.
Yes. And messing around, and it's like, hey, you take this a bit more seriously, maybe. But they don't have that same. They haven't had that same kind of traumatic experience yet, so they're kind of like, yeah, whatever. We'll just do whatever we want. It'll be fine.
Yeah. Even the viewers think so. It's like, oh, we're just gonna have Squiggly pick up the arm that, kind of caused a lot of trouble on Basket's side.
Mm. Like it's no big deal, and then just play with it. It's like okay, well, just put that down.
He's not gonna put it down anytime soon.
Sense bad things.
So, anyway, do you have like, guess questions, you know, on your end? Yeah.
Yeah, and mine are like I've really enjoyed the E5 discussion, the in depth like my kind of perspectives on things. Like the first thing really is like, how did you like even like start getting into doing like art and all of that kind of where did that kind of kick in?
Well, I guess it started like a very, very long time ago. I guess the object show fandom isn't really my first fandom.
Mm-hmm.
My very first one was like the Happy Tree Friends fandom.
Oh
So,
wow, yeah,
I mean,
memories.
don't look it up if you're really young. Do not look it up.
No, it
It's
looks cute and innocent, but it
violent,
definitely ain't.
violent show.
Yes.
It's a very violent show, but I guess from there I kind of picked up interest in like flash animations.
Mm-hmm.
Like I learned a little bit about the program and how to make like a few things as well, like maybe a few props and stuff like that, like sets.
Yeah.
And I guess I also watch a lot of cartoons as well, like how most animators and artists start out. Like, they'll watch like 90s cartoons like Powerpuff Girls, they will watch like Courage the Cowardly Dog. Yeah, I think SpongeBob was in my era as well.
Well, I think
I like SpongeBob.
SpongeBob's crossed a few people's eras, still going strong, still picking up fans. It's like it's an unstoppable kind of juggernaut that
It's an
show.
unstoppable
It
force.
really is. But like chucking out a couple of the classics, like not the classic Cartoon Network day stuff. I used to love watching that. I used like so my nana was the one who had cable TV. We didn't have it at my house, so I'd go to her house and she had Cartoon Network, and I used to watch all. I used to love the cartoons. That's just kind of unparalleled stuff, and it's like I ain't saying the cartoons aren't good now. There's some really good stuff, and there was some good stuff the generation after that. But oh, geez, yeah, the Courage the Cowardly Dog, and like I said, the Powerpuff Girls as well, and I Am Weasel, and Ed, and Eddie. Oh, I just love all of those. They were this. I wish I could dig them up easily to watch them again because I used to absolutely adore those shows. And my wife, when she went to college, she was taught by one of the people. I can't remember exactly what he did on Ed, and Eddie, but used to work on that show. So he used to mention that show a lot, teaching his classes and stuff. So it's like that show specifically has a lot of important. It has an important place for me and definitely my wife because she learned a lot from that guy, and she still does the art stuff. And my kid Ruby loves doing, absolutely adores doing art stuff, and it's like really cool to see have these two really talented people in the house with me who just sits talking into a microphone all the time. It's just really cool to have two two really cool artists in the house. Yeah, I think it's a
That's
really cool thing.
interesting. I'm kind of the only artist in my family.
Hmm.
So, it's a little bit difficult for me to like connect to other people in real life in terms of art. So I kind of ended up being on the internet most of the time.
Oh yeah. Yeah, it's how that goes sometimes. I say I always encourage Ruby to keep drawing, and like they've got a few interests of their own that they like to do specific art of, and the object show stuff. They still do a lot of object show stuff, and I mean it's Ruby that got me watching object shows to begin with, and but they kind of branch out to other stuff. They play a couple of things on Roblox. It's the big deal, isn't it? And so they do like they do a lot of art from Roblox games um and stuff like that. But it's like I'm always like just any art you do. I was like, make sure you show me it. I want to see it, and I want to I want to laud it and say it's really good, and I want to see their style develop and their own, because they'll see certain art styles like in videos and stuff, and say I want to have a try at that one, and then they'll send me a picture in that style, and I was like, keep doing that kind of stuff and keep practicing your art, and I said you'll fall into your own kind of style, which might be just an amalgamation of other styles or whatever. It's like everything's inspired by something else. So it's like
True.
yeah. So I'm just definitely I'm trying my best to encourage that. It's like and I don't want to push them away from doing what they enjoy doing, and it could be art now for a bit, and it could be something else down the line. But right now it's all art, and I'm like, cool, keep doing your art. I love seeing your art, and it's like. It's like anything really. It's not a super easy thing to make a living off. But
Oh
I
yeah,
don't,
yeah, that's very true.
uh,
Especially the day and age.
oh gosh, with everything going on now, yeah, it's. But I'll support them as much as I can. If that's still what they want to do a few years from now, then I'll still be supporting them either way. But there's time for things to change. At some point, they wanted to do. They were very keen on insects, and I said, well, that's a line of
Huh.
work. I said that's a line of work. Still is the case. They'll still come walking in the house, and they'll be like, look, there's a moth on my arm. It's just that's still there. They're still
Oh,
interested in that too.
it's nice.
Uh, but yeah, it's I just find it really cool. Just to open up my phone now and again, and we've got like a family messenger chat, and every now and again, Ruby will have just sent a couple of pictures, maybe before they went to bed. So I'll wake up and I'll open my messenger, and I'm like, oh, that's really cool. It's just I enjoy it. I really like it.
Well, I guess like how did they get into object shows, you know?
That's it. That's like I'm wondering. Like I think what happened is they might have maybe just popped up like clips on somewhere somehow might have popped up on.
Probably YouTube.
Yeah, I think it might just snuck in there somehow. Maybe a friend at school. I should double check because all I really remember was, and it's like I think Ruby assumed I might have already knew about their existence, and then it was like, ooh, it's like around about my birthday last year, so like January last year, and I took a bit of time off around my birthday, and Ruby came downstairs and was like, Have you ever seen this show before? It's called BFDI. I'm like, no, I've never heard of it. And I think Ruby was a bit surprised because, as far as Ruby was concerned, anything animated, I'd seen it before. And I was like, no, believe it or not, I haven't seen every single animated thing that I do watch a lot. And that's the assumption was just because I do watch a lot of animated stuff. And I was like, no, I haven't seen it. And it was like, well, do you want to watch some of this? So we just pulled up the playlist of the first season and watched a few episodes. I was like, okay, I like this. Obviously, the first season, you're going all the way back there to when they first started doing the show. And I was like, I'll see what they're doing. I kind of like the premise of this. I said, we'll watch more. We'll watch more when I get time. And then there was a chunk of time last year when my wife was off work for a while. So I stayed home just to be with her while she was off. And around about spring break time, yeah, March then, Ruby came back downstairs again. I was like, so do you want to watch some more of that show? I was like, sure, why not? And over the course of that 1 week, we watched so much. We caught all the way up to, honestly, I can't remember what it was up to by March last year, but we caught up to wherever it was at that point. So it was a whole bunch of watching we did. And then after that,
Yes, around that time, was it like, you know, teapot or was it like something before?
now let me just, you know what? I am curious to where because we tried to watch stuff. I don't think we watched it sequentially because of the whole, when were things? Hang on a second. I'm curious
Well,
now.
I guess it's because, you know, sometimes I find it a little difficult to catch up on every single thing that I've missed.
Mm-hmm.
Even the show that I work on, which is like BFDI, it's like I have to kind of find a reference for something that they're referencing,
Oh yeah.
like go all the way back and just find out one specific thing, like what did they mention?
I think it's like it's trying to remember what episode of BFDIA it was up to at the time and what episode of Teapot it was up to at the time, because I'm trying to remember the first one we saw. I'm trying to remember the first episode we watched, like after we'd caught up with everything, and I think it was. I think I know which one it was. It was okay. So it was. BFDIA 18 was the first one we watched after I'd caught up with everything, because that was March 25. So I think it was just, I think we'd watched everything just before that episode. Yes, I remember watching that episode when it came out, because Ruby had their GF on the on a audio call on the phone, and
Oh,
we watched they watched it at their house on their TV while we were watching it at the same time. And we made sure we tried to sync up the videos so we were watching it at the same time. So yeah, that was the first one we watched after we'd caught up. I can't remember what episode of Teapot we were up to at that point, but like we did the BFDI catch up, and then Ruby had me watch Inanimate Insanity as well. So they like basically the big two were the first two that I watched, and then we branched out from there. And I think Ruby did a sneaky trick on me in a way, because after we'd watched those two, and I know Inanimate Insanity has its some of its like more, kind of like deeper storylines and stuff. It's definitely a show that's made me cry before. But then Ruby was like, "Okay, let's watch this one next. It's called One." Yeah,
yeah.
thanks, Ruby.
Those, yeah.
Yeah, thank you for that one. I was like, okay, I know how object shows work. Okay, sure, let's watch one. Fantastic.
Then you watch
Yeah.
one and suddenly you don't know how object shows work anymore.
No, not at all. I walked around like I was a hollow shell for like a good week after watching that. I just didn't know what to do with myself.
But
Oh,
I
jeez.
guess I can kind of segue to like how I got into the object show community.
Mm-hmm.
I guess I was also like a bit kind of older actually at the time when I joined. I was like 20 years old actually. So I had like some experience in art and animation back then, like a little bit, kind of rough. I completely have no experience in comics actually.
Mm.
So, as you can see, the beginning of E4 is kind of rough looking. That's probably the reason. And how I found object shows was through Carrie's channel, like one of his computer science channel about like, all the little computer AI stuff that he was doing at the time.
Uh-huh.
There were like creatures evolving, and then I thought that was kind of neat. And then he kind of has like, machine learning for like all of the BFDI episode screenshots to kind of like produce like an average of all of these BFDI videos.
Yeah.
It's basically conjuring like one image from all of these videos that he created.
Huh.
And yeah, I thought, oh, that was also kind of interesting. Maybe I should check out the Jack and Jellyfish channel, just to see what it's all about because everyone keeps mentioning it in the comments.
Mm-hmm.
So I kind of watch it, and it's a lot like Total Drama Island, where like instead of the writers, kind of writing in the eliminations and everything, it's the people who in the comments who directly vote on like who they want to be out. Which I thought is kind of interesting because like you kind of have to keep watch of like who the who the voters like and who they dislike, and you kind of have to write around all the eliminations because sometimes they can be a little bit unexpected,
Oh yeah. Keep you on your toes.
and you can't really plan around that very deliberately.
Yeah.
So I think a lot of like objections are kind of improvised that way as well, which is kind of the fun of it actually. It's like something happened, so you kind of have to like make something up on the spot.
It's like, oh, that character got voted out. I wasn't expecting that. What do we do? Yeah, it's definitely
Oh no, I was trying to develop this character, but then this character got voted out suddenly.
ah, yeah. Oh, geez, yep. And then you got to pivot. Like, okay, okay, we need to wait. No, we need to focus on this character instead, and hope that they don't get voted out next.
Yeah, I guess, sometimes maybe like they really try to push like one character to be voted out to make them do a lot of like mean things or they screw up on purpose.
Yeah,
Suddenly they're gone, but it kind of backfires a lot of times actually.
yeah. You can never predict what people are gonna do. That's the thing. It's like you never kind of know. You sometimes maybe think you can kind of push an angle, but then the people say nah. Or sometimes I think it's even a case of like, we know what you're trying to do. We're going to do this to kind of annoy you.
I think, there's like a shift of object shows trying to be more like non-competition, but
hmm
it would be interesting if like someone still adds this unpredictability factor into their story as well.
Yeah.
Kind of like what I'm trying to do with EFAR. Like instead of voting out characters, you vote for what they're doing or what they're going to do.
Yes. It feels very kind of like it feels very kind of like choose your own adventure kind of style. It's like, to do this, turn to page 32, or to do this, go to page 67. It's got that kind of vibe, which I do like that.
Yeah. And I mean, there is still like a little bit of like you don't really know what you're gonna get.
hmm
So for the usual shows, if you eliminated a character, they get eliminated. Bye bye, gone. This is what you get. But with like actions, you don't know what the consequences are.
oh,
So that's also kind of like the challenging but also fun part of it. It's like the voters just don't know what they're going to get.
yeah. It's more.
Maybe they might
Yeah.
feel a little bit cheated because it's not what they expected, but it's EFAR, so
Yeah. Yeah.
just don't expect
It's like you
like
get.
your expectations are probably going to be twisted anyway.
Well, that's it. It's like you get what you get, and all you can do with the choices you get in EFAR is you just go like, what are you going to do here? You look at these two choices, and you either go with your head or you go with your heart. Which of these choices pulls you in more? And since I've only just caught up, I missed out on the last vote as well by, I think, more than a month. I think it was like I could probably get caught up before this vote
Oh
ends, right? I was I
no.
was miles behind by the time I got to it, and I'm like, okay, that is an interesting choice. But now that I have caught up, I will be around whenever the next choice happens to come around. So at least I know I will be around for the next one. So that's what I'm focusing on. Well, I'm also focused on what's going to happen with that last choice. So I'm kind of excited slash terrified to see what happens there. But yeah, as I am with every page, regardless. Every time I click the next button, I'm like, oh, should I click this now, or should I just stay on this page for a bit longer and just kind of stare at nothing?
Just kind of stare at the art,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
stare at weird faces reacting to something again.
I do love it though. I do. I love it, but also in the back of my head, I'm like, this is going to kill me at some point. I know it is. It's like mm-hmm. It's like, and the thing is, again, to go all the way back to the genes discussion, it's like you were just starting to get to know these characters. So as much as the genes situation was like, oh no, it didn't, because it was still early on. It's like, oh well, consequences of actions and stuff like that. It was sad, but it was like yeah. Hadn't had as much time to connect, but then the further the story goes and the more you kind of connect and get to know these characters, the harder it's going to be to lose them as we go along, So it's.
That's why I kind of want to develop them a bit
Yes.
more before I could just fully just kind of it's like this is kind of a weird thing to say, like, it's like harvesting vegetables.
Gonna wait till you're ripe.
It's like, oh, are they ripe yet? No, they're not ripe. You can't kill them yet. They're not.
Oh, that's such a beautiful analogy.
But I feel like I'm a bit too slow on trying to kill characters, actually, so I might have to speed up on that part.
It's like, let's just do 3 in a row.
Hmm. Um.
I don't like that reaction. Uh-oh. Did I just spoil myself?
Uh-oh. Be careful what you wish for.
I didn't.
Else you might
Wait,
get it.
I didn't wish for it. No.
Speaking of wishing, I've noticed the voters tend to vote for the choices that are very like detrimental, like the usual bad choices.
Oh, right. Yes, kind of
It's like
poking the bear.
when I see it, it's like, oh, so you want these characters to suffer? Well, hmm.
I just people like being sad, I guess.
No, they want to see more excitement.
Yeah,
And
that's another way of putting it.
it's exciting. So they want to see something happen, the real clash happen.
We'll see what my choices end up looking like when I get the chance to make one next time. I guess it just depends, right? Because, like you say, you do the choices in EFA are more like way more ambiguous than just who do you want to be eliminated. It's more like, I'm going to give you 2 very kind of, for want of a better word, whimsical choices, and you don't really know what they're going to mean.
Mystery box choices that are both full of poison, death.
One might just be a tiny bit more poisonous than the other one, but you still won't really know that until the next page comes out.
Actually, I did kind of like trick the audience, like thinking there will be a death, but then there isn't. I didn't kill them. And I guess that's the one with like people trying to vote basket, like to fall into the lava, I think.
Oh.
Voting. I think that was like one poll in like somewhere around at the end of chapter 3. But I guess I mean it was kind of ambiguous as well because as like the code speak, the Caesar cipher that the bucket always has. You've seen like the weird gibberish words before, right?
Yes. Yeah. Yes.
And then on the website, there's like a bucket decoder where you can kind of like see what it's actually saying. I guess, like, most of chapter 3 was set up before the website was created. So, maybe I thought it was like a little bit ambiguous. So I just decided not to execute basket right there and then. And it wouldn't really make any sense because it's just in the middle of his arc. And, there's probably more things to do with it.
That's a good way of looking at it. It's like, I'm not going to kill this character. I've got a little bit more to say yet. It's fine. I'll kill him just when everybody starts really understands them, and then that's it. They're out of here.
I think most characters are kind of reaching to the point of being like understood. Like you kind of get them.
Yeah.
Like once I develop swabs, it's like game over for everyone. He's like the last character I'm trying to figure out. 9 years and I haven't really figured out this potent stick. She's not gonna be a side piece anymore. She's gonna do something.
I'm terrified. Terrified. The conversation's terrifying me. I'm not going to sleep tonight.
Really? Wow. Is it really that scary? I mean, it's EVA comic, man. It's a comic.
It's the funny thing too. It's like I've mentioned a couple of times about like when I've done my Blue Sky threads talking about it and stuff, and people are like, it's like. And I've reacted to things, and people are like, "Oh, geez, no." Well, it's like, did you not know that it was like? Oh, it's like I'm fully aware. I saw the warnings. I know exactly what kind of story it is. It's fine. I know it's gonna hurt me. I know it is, but I'm gonna read it anyway. It's like that's. I rewatch media that I know is going to hurt me emotionally because for some reason I think sometimes you just need to have those kind of emotions. Otherwise, it's it's one of those things. It's like why would you watch something that makes you cry? To feel something? Yeah.
You, yeah. And to kind of understand emotions as well.
Yeah, that's
Like,
it.
why would someone do something like that, or why would someone feel something?
Yep. Yep.
Like, I guess that's also kind of why people are fascinated with like crime stories,
Oh yeah.
where the criminal does something, but then you're really trying to figure out why are they like this? What made them do it?
That's it. It's just trying to understand. Not that we ever probably could in some cases, but there's still a part of us, I think, that needs to just try and figure things out. So yeah, what made you kind of dive into doing like a webcomic instead of like an animated series? And what are the differences there? Like, what kind of different things do you have to consider when you're doing a comic compared to, you know, an animated project?
Well, I guess what made me want to start a comic is that, at first I thought it was like the easier option over animation. It's because, for animation, you kind of have to consider not only the animation itself, but you have to consider like video editing,
Yeah.
sound editing. And then, I can't really be the only voice actor because, I kind of have like a very, I, you know, I can't really just voice everyone because I don't really have the skills for that.
Right.
So you kind of have to find more people in the community, which at the time I don't really know anyone very well
Hmm.
or really like trust anyone that well. So I kind of have to make this like a solo project. So I thought, maybe the most economical way is to just, make a comic.
Hmm.
I could make post updates faster, which I guess isn't really the case now because I really barely have time to do much dating lately. Oh man, the hiatuses. Anyway, I guess back then I thought, making comics was a lot more straightforward than creating like a whole animation for it.
Right. Yeah. 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 Yeah.
But then what is unexpected is that, the way you paste comics is like really different from how you would do like an animated show. I'm not sure how to explain it, but like you can't really just make the characters like say things out loud.
Hmm.
That's kind of what I found out. You kind of have to imply it in a way that isn't like super obvious. I think that's like most of the problems I have in the beginning of the comic, like trying to find the style, trying to find like the best settings for the font and typography,
Yeah.
and like just trying to find out like what I'm comfortable with and what's the best for the comic. I guess you can see like the comic evolves a lot in art style over time. It's because I kind of like try to figure out new things, like try to learn which one is good for the comic. Like recently in chapter 4, the characters have more like defined limbs,
Ah. Yeah.
which actually started because at the end of chapter 3, I kind of wanted to make the actions more expressive. So I kind of gave them like defined hands instead of like these little nubs, like round nubs that they usually have.
Hmm.
Kind of brings a little bit more, in a way, less cartoony and more real because now they have like these actual limbs that are the part of their body, and it's kind of part of them. It's not just like thin little noodles that you can just snap off anytime.
Oh, it's gonna be fun to when I do go through it all again. Actually, to note that change as well, because like I say, when I read it in chunks, it maybe didn't stand out as much. But when I do reread all of it, and I'll be doing it all in like a shorter period of time, and I'll notice that more. I mean, I I still have a folder full of EFA screenshots from when I was doing my threads on Blue Sky, so it's fun to open that up and open up the very first screenshot I took, which was Basket hanging onto the cliff by his teeth. That's the first one I took, and I think my quote, that was the first one I posted on Blue Sky as well when I started reading it. And I believe I said something along the lines of, "I already love this little menace," and that did not change.
Little Menace. Yeah, his design also changed a lot.
Mm-hmm.
You know, at first it's like super lime green with these dark green stripes, and now at least it has like a grayish rim. It's kind of darker green now
Yeah,
compared to like way back then.
still a menace.
Another thing I kind of want to mention is that for comics, you kind of also have to consider like how you fit everything into the page and how it flows.
Yes.
So that's an extra challenge, especially for like the scrolling kind of comics. There's like different types of comic formats. There's like the usual page comics where you've like kind of like flip them like a book.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's like the long scrolling one where you see like modern web comics, like webtoons.
Yeah.
So IFA is designed to be more of like a scrolling comic. So I kind of have to figure that out because I'm kind of new to the format as well.
Yeah, that's a lot of planning because you know it's like some people some people think comic and they do just think like some of those very standard formats. It's like you think the classic newspaper strip format where it's like 3-4 panels, right? And it's like whoever's doing the comic I just need to do this 3-panel comic, and you do you do your introductory panel, you set up, you joke, you're done. It's like but obviously with that scrolling format and having so many different so many panels to include, and obviously you've got the different, it's not all just rectangular boxes and stuff, you've got the split panels and all that kind of thing, so it's
Yeah,
a
you have
lot
to
more.
make it look. You have to make all the pages stand out on their own, which
Yeah.
is like a very. It's kind of the hard part about creating a comic.
Yeah, I couldn't even
And then you have
imagine.
to consider the amount of like space around the character to not be like too much or too little.
Yeah.
There's a lot of things to consider, like trying to shift everything around to make it make sense.
Jeez, I can't even imagine. I just can't. Sometimes I sit down and I'm like I'm reading EFA, or I'm just checking art out and stuff, and I'm just like, I love looking at this, but I'm kind of glad I can't do it myself because I couldn't even imagine. I couldn't even I couldn't even imagine the effort and the amount of time that goes into all of that, and like that's what makes it really impressive, you know. And like when you were when we were talking about the difference, and you were talking about the difference between the comic and the animation. Obviously, animation needing a lot more hands on deck, needing a lot more people involved, and obviously a lot more work from different sides of things. But comic side of things too, that's a whole different skill set. Even that's the whole different, you know.
Yeah, that's a whole different game.
Yeah, I definitely. It's like it's a lot of it's a whole lot of work, and that's why like every single page when I'm reading through EFA, right from the get go, right from the beginning, and like I know you've said you've developed it obviously as you've gone along, and you've improved on things, and you've changed character designs, and you've changed how you've done it. But like even from the get go, when I first even started reading, I was like, this is good stuff, though. This is just like right from the beginning. I was like, this is obviously because it's got to get a hold of you and make you want to keep reading it too. So you had that down right from the start. Just I've got to say that because oh, it gets you. It digs into you straight away. It's like, well, guess I'm here now. That's it. I'm in EFA world now.
The marketing part was also a bit of a challenge for IFA as well because it's not on YouTube.
Hmm.
At the time, basically everyone in the OSC knew each other on YouTube, so usually everything gets linked on this one website.
Yeah.
basically all the object shows. But then E4 is like out of YouTube. So it's kind of more difficult to share it to other people and just try to convince them to read it. I've been trying to do it for a really long time, but it's still got a little fan base. Maybe not a lot, maybe, yeah. Well, I guess, I did spend a lot of effort trying to get people to read it back then.
Yeah.
Maybe now not as much. I just mostly get the fan base to do this marketing job for me because it has proven to be more effective than just me doing it alone.
Oh yeah.
As they say, word of mouth is like it's like the fastest way to get something to spread.
Mm-hmm. Oh, for sure. It's I can imagine it is. It's like I don't know. People definitely seem to when it comes to like any kind of visual mediums. It does feel like people will gravitate to like, oh, I can just stick this on and watch it because it's like you can just put it on, and some people will just put something on and just listen to it and not actually engage with it and watch it. So when it comes to like a comic book, you have to engage with it. You have to actually take the effort. You have to put the effort into actually read what's in front of you. So it's
Oh
like
yeah, there's no sound effects, no voice acting. It can be a little tough on people to kind of stay focused on it unless it's like a really good story.
ooh, that's the inspiration. Not the inspiration, the idea, where it all came from. All right. Ugh.
I guess it's kind of explained on the website where it's
Hmm.
like based on Infinity Train. Have
Yeah.
you have you watched the series?
Yes, it's been a while. It has been a while, but I do remember
Yeah,
watching it.
wish they got renewed, but that's like a really, 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 really low chance of that happening.
Yeah, it's a
But
shame.
anyway, what I've found interesting about it, at least from the pilot, is like there's like a different door
Hmm.
that the main character Tulip has to go through. And it's like a whole different world and like a whole different puzzle before she can have access to the next door, which makes it kind of like a puzzle setting.
Yes.
Like she has to figure out every single room in order to progress to the next one. And then there's like the train conductor. There's like threatening Tulip as well, but we kind of sort of knew that the train conductor is also related to the little robot that's following her.
Yes.
1-1. So
Ah,
yeah, I guess I really like the little puzzle aspects about this show. I've also played like escape games, the very old escape game rooms kind of games.
yes. Oh yeah. Yep. I know those.
There used to be like a horror, kind of like a horror genre game called The Crimson Room, which is like a really old Flash game where you have to like click around and find like a bunch of keys and solve a bunch of puzzles in the room. Those types of games. So it's also sort of based on these games as well.
Oh, cool.
And I guess I did mention Danganronpa executions.
Yeah.
So yeah, actually I was sort of from like the Danganronpa fandom before I went into the OSC. So I kind of like borrowed a few things from there as well. Like, the character development, the certain death kind of feel, certain doom.
I've never played any of the Danganronpa games, and I'm scared to, to be honest.
Well, okay, I'm not gonna spoil you on anything.
Yeah, on the off chance I actually do dive into them at some point, you never know.
Well, I guess, the the game's writing isn't really perfect and it's kind of more for like mature
Oh
audiences.
yeah, yeah.
It's definitely more for mature audiences. So that's kind of a disclaimer. Like, I don't really really want to like put all of the Danganronpa influences into E5 because
Mm,
that would be kind of a mess.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
And I guess over time, I kind of like when I watch more shows, I kind of have more inspirations. Like, the way that it's written is more like kind of like a D&D game.
Mm.
It kind of goes along as it's developed instead of being planned from the beginning, like kind of what I said just now. I guess I also used to watch Don't Hug Me. I'm Scared.
Oh yeah,
That show with the tree puppets.
yes. Well, that's yeah, it's a
Their
classic,
teacher.
absolute classic.
Yeah, so those are like most of my influences as well. Oh, there's also the Nightly Manor. So there's like an objectual influence. But the Nightly Manor had like a show before it, which is called Object Manor.
Yes, because that was yeah, that had a different vibe
Have you
to it.
have you watched Object Manor?
I know the concept. I didn't actually. I've only watched Nighty Manor, but I do know about Object Manor and how that setup was obviously a different kind of setup to how Nightly Manor ended up being.
So Object Manor is kind of have like the horror mansion premise where a bunch of objects go into this really strange house that they're somehow invited to, and then they start dying one by one.
Mm-hmm.
I did hear people say that E4 is kind of like the Saw movies as well. Again, for mature audiences, for obvious reasons.
Yes, definitely R-rated movies. Those ones.
So yeah, that's like the puzzle plus horror, basically.
Yeah, yeah. I can see how all those could be tied in and an influence for sure. Yeah, that makes sense.
Well, E4 is also like, somewhat influenced by Inanimate Insanity. I guess I mostly base it on the way they kind of like have this. You know how there's this kick the bucket episode where the characters kind of have like a little conflict and try to figure it out, but then it was sort of unsuccessful at the same time.
Mm, mm-hmm.
And then Balloon kind of like talked to Suitcase about how he feels. I thought
Yes.
that was kind of interesting, like how they try to manage the conflicts between the team and the kind of the more tone shift from like the comedic stuff from the earlier seasons. People would kind of say that it's a little bit inconsistent because at first it's like really cartoony. They really wanted to get into the cartoony stuff, but then suddenly it's like this really sad story. But I don't know. Personally, I kind of like it. Maybe because I was like new at the time.
Yeah, I definitely prefer the later on Inanimate Insanity stuff myself as well. It's the character development and character interactions is kind of what I'm there for. It's why I like a lot of the more slice of life object shows as well. It's like don't get me wrong. I mean the competition based stuff is obviously the first stuff I watched, and I still enjoy competition based object shows. Because it's just the differences though, because a lot of the competition based object shows are just goofy and just off the wall and just completely, wild. Whereas the slice of life ones are more like, you know, more about the character interaction and the kind
And
of
the world thing.
yeah. And I that's what I'd like. I like both. I like both styles. And there's some shows that pull both off. Like Inanimate Insanity is a good example of that because it is a competition based show, but it does dive deep into the interactions and the relationships between characters as well. It does both of those things, and I think it does both of those things pretty darn well. Um, and it's like that is one of the very few competition based object shows that does do that. I mean, there's lots of competition based object shows out there that do have lore and stuff going on in the background and things, but it's usually more about Pearl and not so much interaction between characters. It's more like there's a competition going on, but also this bad thing's happening. But when it comes to characters talking to each other and other stuff. There's not. That's kind of on the back burner. That's kind of left in the background somewhere. So it's yeah. It's finding the balance can be rough. And like I mean I understand that. That's why some people just go all in with the kind of goofy side of things or the serious rather than trying to do both. But the people who do both and pull it off, they do a good job of it, you know. And again, I feel like EFA does that pretty good. There's definitely more. A lot of the screenshots I've got in that folder are definitely the goofy side of things because they're the ones I like to look at. But yeah, the serious stuff comes across really well as well.
Yeah, I think I made EFA like have this serious premise, but then it's because they're objects, they're bound to do like goofy stuff once in a while because they do object things.
Yes.
And they're not really human bodies. They have this more have more of a puny body,
Mm-hmm.
but still vulnerable to like damage and stuff. So that's kind of like the risk over there.
Yeah, that's right. Like Pinky's damage.
Pinky.
uh,
Oh, Pinky in the recent pages. She is suffering.
oh, yeah, she ain't having a good time, and I don't think it's gonna get much better. If I had to guess.
She is going to go through a lot.
Uh,
I'm not sure if you're a fan of Pinky. I mean, I know someone who is a big fan of Pinky, but
yeah,
yeah.
I know a couple of people who are. Like I said at the start, it's like I do. I've got a little piece of myself for every one of those characters. It's like I do. Like I said, even Snake Oil, even the jerk. It's like
Even the jerk.
even the jerk. So it's like yes, I do have a higher tiered characters in my mind, but it's like all of them. I feel concerned for all of them, is what I'll say. That's how I'll put it. So it's like I constantly living in a state of worry for all of them. So yeah, we'll.
So, speaking about jerk in IFA, there is the other jerk that's not Basket. He's just a straight up jerk as well.
Yeah.
In a different way. I'm sure we know who it is. He's the white block of foam.
Mm-hmm.
Styrofoam.
Styrofoam.
So, what do you think about styrofoam?
I this is where I would need to go back and reread the early parts as well, because I like when I was playing catch up recently, there's definitely some things I'd forgotten had happened, because if I read through something once, not everything sticks in my head. I've got too many things in my head for lots of stuff to stay in there at once. So I definitely got reminded of a few things I've forgotten about. It's like I just totally forgot about that. And then with his
Oh, okay.
with his reappearance as well, it's like, well, I haven't seen you in a while. What have you been up to? But yeah, yeah, I
I
definitely need
think you
to.
should also read the diary pages as
Yes,
well.
yeah, and that's what you were telling me that too, and that's one of the things I was meant to do over this last week, but it ended up being way more chaotic than I expected it to be.
Well, for now, the diaries kind of serves as like extra content
Yeah.
to, the world outside of abstract reality and how it's like. But I was thinking about developing this world even more than like, beyond just the diary. So it's
Oh,
just kind of like a setup of all the things
interesting.
through like, a certain character's perspective. I
Hmm.
think it's kind of obvious who this character is at the point, but I'm not gonna say it for now.
After you asked me who my favorite was, and I know this is sometimes a hard question because you made all these characters, so I don't know if you want to put someone above anybody else, but do you have a
Oh,
favorite
oh,
IFA character?
as I say, it's like choosing between your own children,
Yeah.
except it's actually choosing between like which vegetable is the best one to harvest right now. I'm not sure if I could really pick favorites because of the nature of the comic,
Yeah.
because you know, it's like, oh, if I say like, I don't know, like wet wipes is my favorite, it's like, oh, that means Punch is not going to kill this character.
Yeah, yeah, I see what you mean. That's
Wrong.
yeah.
I used to use wet wipes as like kind of like my self insert in a way.
Right.
But then, in chapter 3,
Well,
well, she gotta go at some point. I actually thought she's gonna be like a mainstay, but I decided, nah, I think among all of them, she's the most complete
hmm.
character to say the least. I'm kind of like basically, yeah, I think she's done here.
Story
She
finished.
gets sacrificed. But current character, I guess I wouldn't say it's my favorite, but it's the one I'm currently focusing on, which is Pinky's arc
Yeah. Uh-huh.
and how she's gonna influence like the blue team. I mean, in good or bad ways.
Oh, yes, okay. Ambiguous, like
And
it.
the current conflict between her and Silica because they kind of have some beef going on.
Yes.
And also with Swaps and how they relate to each other. I think, she's probably going to be like the basket of this chapter, but in
Oh.
like a different way.
Yeah, okay. All right. All right. Okay, I see where you're
Do
coming
you
from.
think like, the characters kind of like I guess in the beginning people have told me like the characters kind of feel too similar to each other. That's why I kind of have to really try to develop them to become more distinct
Yeah.
instead of like generic personalities. Like what happened with Badgie in the earlier chapters.
I could see how that would be I could, and I could see how that if you write a character a certain way and then have to kind of kind of pivot with them, um, and like trying to make sure that they all have their kind of own individualities. Um, yeah, I can imagine that's a really interesting thing to try and work through. You got to sit there and look at this character and go, right, hang on. So who are they actually? Right, get into their head a little bit.
Though Amulet's actually kind of designed to be a bit more morally ambiguous in the beginning. Like I had a few plans for her to kind of have like a bit of switch up
Hmm.
somewhere, which I kind of did in chapter 3,
Yeah.
where she's like not really what she seems to be, not really this super happy character. Like, she's trying to hide something, but then, it's kind of like her own emotions instead of something super nefarious. Like she's secretly part of the villainous team. Or maybe at one point she does she does try to be on Snake's side because she's kind of mad at Reggie. She's a very complicated character,
Yeah.
and I'm sure we'll see more of her shenanigans.
I'm actually, and that was ah, Amulet's story was like a super, super duper interesting one to me too when I was reading that. And that was of course, that leads us to one of the other animated sequences that kind of broke me a little bit. Because despite everything that she did in that chapter and the way she acted in that chapter, that little moment, that little change up there, and then she was gone. And I was like, wait a minute. But of course, that wasn't that wasn't the end of the
Goodbye.
story. Yes, that was yeah. I was like, oh, geez. I think that was when I had to take another break. Actually, yeah. I think that's when I had to just close things down for a while. I think I had to walk away from my desk for 10 minutes.
She's such an annoying little thing.
It's so true, but at the same time, I was still so sad. And then, of course, there was the whole the reappearance jump scare. I remember getting to that page and being like,
And then
"Where?"
she reappears and then she hits the Peter Griffin.
Yes.
Then she gets helicopter.
Oh, like she is such a good character, and I'm very interested to see where her story goes from here, along with along with our buddy styrofoam, buddy in inverted commas, but quote like
In crime,
buddy, but buddy, yeah.
body, a serious partner in crime that she didn't even really consent to anyway.
Yeah. Oh, they could do such terrible things together. There's so much potential for horrificness.
Or horribleness. Most fun to write for. Which character is the most fun to write for? I guess it's kind of obvious. It's Basket. He kind of has like a very distinct writing style. The more I write him, it's like he kind of isolates himself, but then he kind of also wants to get close to people.
Yeah.
Kind of one of the only characters who talks to like the most people in the story.
Yeah.
He's even reached out to like Styrofoam and Squiggly. So yeah, he sure talks to a lot of people, and then he makes up nicknames for them. But at the same time, he just insists that he wants to be isolated. Kind of a conflicting thing for him, where he can't really express how he feels because he just wants to this cover of being like a complete jerk and just push people away by being really rude to them.
It's such an interesting aspect of him too, because that's what he does, but at the same time he's one of the most sociable, but only in the way that, like you said, he interacts with a lot of characters. Not necessarily in a nice way, but he does it a lot.
Yeah, it does that a lot. He's still gonna be really stubborn and sassy.
Oh.
Even towards Badgies, he kind of still makes up really weird little nicknames for him.
I wouldn't want him any other way. He's just got to keep being that way. There's no changing that aspect for sure. Definitely got to keep on being sassy pants.
And I guess the reason why he kind of falls for Badgie really quickly is also kind of tragic because he's really desperate for some kind of connection out of Snake Oil. Trying to desperately leave Snake Oil's like grasp on him, like the control.
Yeah.
Like how the arms on him are like controlled, but Snake Oil and he kind of does this weird little robotic movements.
Oh, no, see, now I just feel bad for him again.
So, metaphorically, him asking Badgie to like cut off his limbs is a way of saying that he wants to disconnect from Snake Oil completely. But doing so also makes him vulnerable. Like he has no limbs. And he's also vulnerable emotionally because he has to ask for help in order to get rid of these limbs.
Yeah, that was a really well put together a sequence as well. That one was yeah, that's one of the ones where I could still all I need to do is think about it, and I can picture it. It's there in my head. I'm like, yep, I remember that happening. I can see it. And then and then that was from that point onwards too, where I didn't really know what was going to happen. Like after that, like I didn't see the Badgie Basket partnership happening. I didn't know what to expect. I didn't expect that. So it was a nice, pleasant surprise though. It was fun. It was definitely one of the directions the story went in where I was like, I can vibe with that. Yeah, I like that. with the sass still thrown in, of course, because it's got to be there. It was really fun, very 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 fun. It'll be very 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 fun up until it isn't. I'm sure.
There's also like another character that I'm trying to develop on the red team, which is Clove.
Mm.
I've actually been thinking up like a few ideas for her. Like I guess her arc so far is being like the little kid of the group, just like not knowing what's happening, kind of being really small. But then at the same time, she just wants to help everyone. But at the same time, she's just a child. Like, why is she helping all these adults to cope with their emotions? So that's gonna come up later. That's gonna come up with some consequences.
She does just kind of dive in there in all situations. She's very
You
much
know,
yeah.
kind of like a pet peeve of mine in like certain I guess I would say object show archetypes is that the kid characters are always very immature and saying random things,
Oh yeah.
but that's kind of like all they are. Like it's kind of surface level. Like it doesn't go into the reason why they do these random childish things, other than oh, they're just a kid.
Yeah.
Like even kids have like personalities to them. Like you can have like a really mean bully kid that says things but isn't really raised right in a way, and then you have like the over parentified kid who kind of has to pretend to be an adult, but then still a child at the end of the day.
Yeah, no, you're right. Kids are portrayed badly in the media quite often, and it's like it does get frustrating. I've seen it across. Geez, I've seen it across all forms of media, and like it's seeing a well written child character is such a rare thing. So it is good when it does happen on those rare occasions. So yeah, it's good to
Yeah, there
be.
are
Yeah.
definitely like a lot of risk in writing child characters because you know how the fandom is.
Oh my
Something.
god. Yes.
And then people are gonna say, "Oh, you write clothes like that because blah blah blah," some weird accusation. I mean, I just kind of want to write a more realistic.
Yeah. Yeah. Of course.
It also kind of puts into question like why does abject reality have like a child over there?
Mm-hmm.
Like why is she here?
Yeah. Ooh, unanswered questions galore. So many. But I do really enjoy Clover as a character. Well, like I said, I repeat myself. It's like I do like all of them in some aspect, in some regard. And just like I just really appreciate Clover. Just like I said, just kind of always trying, no matter what the situation is. Um, she always is just trying to help in some way or another, whether it's like trying to physically help somebody despite her stature, or just trying to emotionally help people despite her age. It's like it's just such a it's a refreshing change of like character style, and I really appreciate the writing that Cloves had so far. So it's going to be interesting to see where she goes from here as well. I keep saying interesting. I keep in the back of my head. It's like it's going to be interesting to see the future of this character, and in the back of my head, it's like interesting gets replaced with terrifying. But both, I guess.
I think Clove is kind of based off like child archetype characters in BFDI.
Hmm.
Well, not really archetype, but more like the very small, simple-minded characters.
Yeah.
Not exactly a child, but just small and simple-minded characters in general.
Yes.
But she is designed to be a child, so no weird shipping allowed.
No.
No weirdness allowed.
Yes, please, none of that. Stop that.
What else? I guess I can talk more about the blue team with Mirror, I think. Yeah, she's like a whole enigma. I guess I could also kind of talk a little bit about styrofoam and mirror, which I'm trying to develop, using well, I mean, I'm still thinking about, like, how they met,
Mm-hmm.
whole story behind them, which could lead to like certain revelations, quite spoiler heavy.
Yeah.
But those two have like the most influence on how the entire abstract reality is set.
Oh. See, this is it. It's like this chat tonight is going to make me wake up tomorrow morning and just open the site up straight away.
I guess most people do read it by looking at the surface. I was kind of like worried that you know by saying all these things it might make people think that I don't really put them in the actual story enough, and I'm just saying things instead.
It's like before I started reading it, from what I'd seen of people discussing it here and there, it definitely felt like it had a lot of layers to it. And when I went into it, I kind of I knew I knew some of the characters just because I'd seen art. But obviously I didn't really know anything about too much about the story, except the little couple of little heads ups I got from people about. So I think essentially it was like something along the lines of like, just don't get too attached to any of the characters. No, I'm not going to say anyone specific, but just don't get too attached to like any of them, just to be on the safe side. I was like, cool, good advice, thanks. Uh, um, but yeah, like so when I was going through, and like I could see in some of the pages in chapter 1 that there was little things sprinkled around here and there in the background, and I was like, that's probably something I should pay more attention to. And in my head, while I was reading it, because I always have the intention of, um, and this goes for when I'm reading stuff or when I'm watching shows to do my show that I do. I watch things once just to like I say I watch it once to enjoy it, then I watch it a second time to dig into it a bit more, and then I watch it a third time while I'm actually doing my like note taking stuff. So my plan for EFA was I'm going to read it through once to, you know, just read it, and then the second read through, which I still need to do, was going to be the to dig into it a bit more. So the first time I was like, just going to go through this, see what happens, character story and stuff. Second time I was going to be like, right, what did I miss? Because I always, I feel like you always miss things the first time around, especially while you're just getting to grips with it, and it's the first time you've engaged with the content. And I feel like that's true of kind of anything, like any media. So like I feel like this second time I do read through it, this is the time I'm going to go through it and be like, oh, I didn't see this connection before, and I'll start maybe seeing things get kind of, I don't want to say foreshadowed, but like things that maybe hint at things that I didn't see before and things like that. Kind of things that other people have already kind of hinted at in my posts that I made as well. So it's like I feel like the second time through, I'm gonna have a few moments where my eyes are gonna be like popping out my head and like what I didn't see that last time. I'm really excited to read it again now.
It is full of surprises.
Oh yeah, it sure is.
What criticisms do you have about the comic that would be, I guess, I can change to make the story better, or maybe like things that bother you a little bit about the comic?
Hmm. At the, that's a rough one because well, maybe after my second. The thing is, I'm not sure how much of my other stuff you've watched, but I am terrible at being negative?
I guess I could say a few things
Mm-hmm.
that I guess other people have said about the comic,
Okay.
maybe. Valid criticisms mostly. I guess I still have to iron out most of the typos on the comic because I found like a few more errors.
Mm.
And the balloon text balloon colors are sometimes inconsistent, so I might have to change that as well. Few things I have to iron out. I guess in the beginning, the pacing wasn't that great because it was like a bit too fast, a bit too like, hurry, like, and I guess the way they talk is kind of obvious. Like they would kind of like, it's kind of in a way that they would point at something and say, "Oh, look, this thing is here," and it's like super obvious. So I'm kind of trying to learn how to make better writing, make conversations make more sense, basically.
Mm.
More real and more evocative. That's why I hired like a few proofreaders to kind of like see through the comic for any mistakes. And
Yeah.
it has been improving a lot since then, so I kind of owe it to them for improving the comic in that way.
Yeah. I remember running across some typos, but it felt like it was more earlier. And it definitely
Yeah,
it definitely picked up afterwards.
I found a few in chapter 3, so I gotta fix those soon.
So like if and this is like anyone from anywhere, if like anybody you could choose to do like a kind of a guest comic, a guest EFAR comic. Who who do you think would do a good job of that, or who would you want to do that?
I guess, honestly, I'll just let one of my proofreaders kind of like create like a guest comic.
Mm.
But, I'm not exactly sure what this guest comic would entail because maybe it's like a continuation of the main story.
Or like a
Maybe it's
one-off
like,
kind of a
like
silly
a
one-off
one-off.
thing. Yeah.
It would be funny if like Junji Ito of all people
Oh,
draw a first scene. That would be really damn funny. It's never gonna happen, but if someone draws that in Junji Ito style, that would be like insane.
I could totally picture it. I really can. Oh god, that's oh, you know what? Out of all the names,
With all the surreal horror stuff, it's just like a one-off. If comic story would be interesting.
God, that's such a good pull. That's such a good pick. Oh, I love that. That would be so good.
It'll be more monochromatic because that's kind of his style.
Yeah, oh, definitely. Oh my goodness. Yeah, no.
And then
Good
he
answer.
April just turns everyone to spirals or something.
Oh, jeez. Oh, I love that. This is my abject reality. It was made for me.
This is my abject reality made for me. And then he dies,
Yeah, of course.
crushed by a mountain. Oh, fun fact. Another fun fact about the recent chapters. You know about like Pinky's mom, the
Yes.
new goat character.
Oh, yes. I've seen people
Design is
talking.
actually the design is actually based on a story of one of Junji Ito's stories.
Oh.
I'm gonna look up the name. I can't exactly remember the name, but it's like the Tree Rings. It's about tree rings. Again, for like mature audiences because it's horror manga.
Mm-hmm.
It's called Layers of Fear.
Oh. Actually, that does
So
ring a
it's
bell.
it's the one where the mom and her two daughters are like driving in the car, and then suddenly, someone gets whacked in the head, while their head is like sticking out of a window or something. Or is it like a car accident?
Yes.
And then it's revealed that you can like this is probably gonna sound really gross to some people, but the skin can be peeled off and then there's like a younger version inside.
Yes, do you know what I have seen? I haven't read the whole thing, but that particular image, I definitely have seen. Someone showed me that. Yes, that does
Oh,
ring a bell. Yeah.
yeah, relating back to IFA, you know how like sometimes when you put on the nail polish on the fingernail, like kind of gets a bit chipped, and then you can see like some of the nail underneath it,
Mm-hmm.
or like the 100-layer nail challenge from like a decade ago. Yeah, that's sort of what I'm going for.
All
If you can
right.
make the connection.
Yes. Okay. Yeah. No. Yeah. I see. I see what you're putting down. Uh huh. All right.
So if you
Oh,
connect these two together, you kind of understand a bit more about the this Pinky's character.
wow. I'm learning so
Layers
much.
of fear, like the rotten onion that J. is.
Oh, that rotten onion analogy is just going to stick with me. It's perfect.
She is just another rotten onion.
It's just surrounded by him. Yeesh. So, have you got any good advice out there for people who are maybe looking to start working on their own thing? I mean, regardless of what the project is, it's like what
I guess
gets you started.
nowadays, you know, I guess I'm talking about more comic projects,
Mm-hmm.
objectual comics. I guess there's a recent boom of objectual comics, with Objectify, with Object Elevation,
Mm.
and quite popular titles. I think there's also like the Four Moons Initiative. I think, yeah, that
Oh,
one's also quite popular.
yeah.
But I guess even with this boom, I still kind of finding a bit of trouble, getting IFA out there. Maybe because it starts to drift into like a different audience that kind of prefers more anthropomorphic animal plus object design.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
I mean, it's a good thing, but it's also kind of difficult to adapt to things.
Yeah, I have seen a lot
As
more of that
as
style.
much as I kind of want to say, no, no, wait, I'm first, so I must be the best. I kind of have to accept that. Sometimes there's like another comic that's sort of like bigger and more popular that will eventually overtake like what you've done. It's a little unfortunate, but well, I guess things happen.
Yeah.
And I don't really want to have like a really big fan base to deal with because that'll be really exhausting considering my time zone as well.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Yeah, no, that makes sense, and it's like it's true. I have seen a lot more of that specific kind of style, um, like that artwork wise as well, and like yeah, it's one of those things. It's like kind of an ever changing kind of landscape, with tastes and styles changing and things like that. I guess it's like anyone who wants to do their own things. It's kind of like try and find your own niche, and that doesn't mean find inspiration in other people for sure, but it's like don't just look at something and say I'm going to do this thing. I'm going to do this as well. It's
Yeah,
it's finding yourself.
it's kind of best to do your own thing and find what you're good at.
Yeah.
Find your own voice instead of like trying to rely on like what other people want or what other people criticize.
Mhm.
Unless you're really looking for that popularity.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't recommend that as well unless you're like a company or something or
Yeah.
like you're an actual marketer
Yeah.
because it's not worth it.
Mhm.
But as for actual comic advice, I would suggest, if you want to start out a comic, you can go on like Comic Fury, which I think is like the best website for this. And I'm biased because I use Comic Fury. So you can set up your own comic website on Comic Fury, and then you can do any format you want. Research a lot of other comics, mangas as well. Just look up on a lot of media and consume them, and try to learn why it works, or why does a story work like this, and learn a little bit about design fundamentals, how to like space things out in a way that looks good, which also relates to like looking at other stuff and finding references. It will come naturally.
Yeah. Yeah. Got to get out there and dig around and see all those different things. And it's like making sure you kind of dig around a variety of stuff. Because obviously
And
it's like, there's lots of styles
yeah,
out there.
and things don't really start out perfect on the get-go, so you shouldn't really worry about like overly planning concept. I guess some people prefer to like plan all the way to the end before they start something, but I personally find that a little bit of a hindrance,
You tie yourself down too
because
quickly.
yeah, you tie yourself down too quickly, and you kind of end up just like, talking too much about it instead of actually executing it.
Mhm.
But you have no idea how it will actually turn out until you do it.
Get pen down on paper. Just do the thing, and then go from there. And you just look at some of like, if you go back to like any webcomic that's been going for a long period of time, and you go back to that, you click that button on the page that says like first, and you look at the difference in art style, and like
Yeah,
any
that
webcomic,
happens
right?
to a lot. That even happens to like some of the more popular ones as well.
Mm-hmm. Like there's webcomics I've been reading since a long time ago. And like some of them I've been reading since they started, and like I can't even remember what they looked like when they first started. But every now and again I do that thing. I just go, oh yeah, I'm gonna quickly check the first comic out again, just to remind myself where this person started, and like, and that's another like, for people who are maybe wanting to start doing their own comic. That's a good way of pushing yourself. Even it sounds silly, but like literally, just go and check how far some people have come, and that's because they've stuck with it for so long. They didn't just do it first. They didn't just do it for a month and then go, well, I'm not getting anywhere, and nobody's paying attention to me, and then stop. They kept doing it.
Oh
Oh,
yeah, another thing I want to mention is about Nuzlocke comics. I think that's another inspiration that I kind of left out just now.
oh,
You know what Nuzlocking is, right?
yes,
In a Pokemon context.
yes,
It's like, the general rules is that if a Pokemon faints, they die, and you can only catch like the first Pokemon in a route.
yep.
So how this whole phenomenon started is that someone created like a comic based on it.
Oh,
So this person kind of documents his journey about like, how he catches a Pokemon and how he goes through the gyms and all that, and how a Pokemon like faints and dies. But then, they also created all these adaptations based on like this one base story, this base Pokemon story.
hmm.
So you end up with like a lot of different comics about how like, a bunch of trainers go through the, I think, the entire Pokemon journey, but it's all very different and distinct from each other. Even the lore is like very different from each other, even though it's like based on one single game.
Hmm.
And how Ifa kind of borrowed from it is kind of like the permadeath aspect,
Uh,
and consequences of your actions kind of thing.
oh, there you go. Wow. And I didn't know about that comic. I didn't know about that comic at all. Ah,
Yeah, so I guess the art also has like a massive improvement over the years. I started out very just like a little doodle comic, and then it gets more refined later on,
yeah, wow.
and it actually has like some kind of story.
Oh, with all that being said, do you have any little final wrap up thoughts? Anything to say to all those dedicated EFAR fans? Any shout out for anybody? Anything? This is kind of a punch hole that has the floor moment.
Oh, okay, so I would like to shout out to like my proofreaders,
Mm-hmm.
Rainbow Server, Real You Projects, and also like Cryptic Media as well, and Stan, who is like a huge fan of Snake Oil.
Someone has to be.
And also K9 Helicopter for like composing the EFAR theme song. You know, they actually have like a new theme song created for it, but I haven't used it yet.
Ooh.
I mean, I gotta animate a new one for that. So hopefully I have the time to create a new one. So, and also, words for the EFAR fans, keep reading the EFAR and always make people read EFAR forever.
Spread the word.
Take any opportunity to promote EFAR and sneakily insert them in random conversations. Like, oh, what are you having for dinner? Oh, I just bought a bunch of clothes in the supermarket. Yeah, that's a spice. I use it to spice up my dinner. Clothes from EFAR that I'm eating right now. Oh, I just finished my dinner. Let me get this wet wipes on the table. Yeah, I'm gonna take out the tissue like they do in one page in chapter 3. Where they take out all the tissue from her. Yeah, that's an EVA reference, am I right? Something like that.
Oh, why you just chuck
Some
that used wet wipe in a basket? Hey, you know what else has a basket in it?
Yeah, exactly. Now you're thinking like an EVA. Just shove it in every single conversation. But do it respectfully. Don't do it in when you're getting punished in like a principal's office like that.
Yeah,
Just do it as respectfully as possible.
just don't do it during a wedding when the vicar asks if anybody has any objections. Don't do it then.
Objections.
It's like I object
Oh,
because the groom did not read EFA. I object to this ceremony.
I object show comic. Like and then the speaker starts playing the Infra team song and everyone was like, why? Why are you like this? Yeah. So, read EFAR, I guess, and read other things as well to get inspired. And things don't always start out perfect, but if you kind of learn on your way, like no matter how old you are, you can always make something out of it in some way.
Yes, inspiring words. It's true, and yeah, and like don't give up straight away. If you do something and you don't get like a bajillion people, it doesn't matter. Keep doing it. It's do it because you want to do it.
Yeah, that is true. So yeah, thank you for this call and inviting me to this interview.
Oh gosh, thank you
It's a
for
very
yeah.
interesting and inspiring talk.
Oh, thank you for reaching out. And it's been an absolute pleasure having you. It's been really fun chat. And keep on doing the EFA because now I'm in
Yes,
deep now.
maybe I will feel more inspired to make EFAR
Yes,
a page.
good.
I mean, hopefully I can get something out soon.
Well, we'll be waiting whenever, right? We'll get fed when we get fed.
Yeah. I guess this is considered kind of EFAR food because it's EFAR stuff.
See, yes, that's true. This counts.
Yes,
This
that
100% counts.
is true. This one counts. Yes, it is an EFAR special. You are the EFAR guest. I
And
mean, I'm the EFAR guest
well,
actually. And you're
well,
like,
well. I was like, I was trying to spin it. You are the guest, but it's Efar is the guest on my. I can't spin it. That's right.
oh, that means you're the EFAR host, which means you are Snake Oil all along.
Plot
Oh
twist.
no,
Plot twist. That's the next page.
that is the next bit.
Oh my goodness me. Well, I guess. Oh, do you know what I should say? Thank you to everybody who watched. Thank you everybody for being here. If you
Thank
haven't,
you to everyone who watched.
if you have not read EFAR, what are you doing? Go read EFAR.
You.
Watch it.
And then after you read EFAR, you will go to the dinner table
And tell other people. This is how
and
it works.
buy a pack of cloves and put it in your dinner and do whatever. Yeah.
It's part of the initiation process. You'd have to do that.
Yes, you have to do that. It's mandatory.
But read EFAR first. You don't do the cloves thing first.
Yes, you have to read EFAR first.
Yes.
Read the entire thing first and just sort of sit there in silence after that to process what the hell just happened or what the hell did I just read.
See, that was my experience. See, Punch just knows exactly how I reacted to it.
Yeah, exactly. I just know things.
Oh, jeez. All right. Thank you, Punch. Thank you, everybody. I
Thank you,
sign off.
everyone. Bye bye.